Well, I've got most of the sanding done on this first coat here, so I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did to get this sanded down. I didn't videotape that whole process because it's pretty simple. Basically, after my first coat of Bondo was on here, I started out with a file. I'm going to use that to take off some of the bulk of the material before I hit it with the sandpaper. I'm trying to hold the file flat against this surface here and also at this surface here, and I'm going right across that detail line because I want these two areas to be even with each other. Don't worry about the depth of the detail lines at this point. If you have to build, say, this section up and it's going to make that detail line a bit deeper, don't worry about that. We're going to fix all these lines at the end. We'll get them all the same depth and the same width when the time comes. Okay, so that's gotten most of it down. I did not use a electric sander on this at all. This was all taken down by hand. You can use an electric sander if you want, but for me, I can have a lot better control by doing this by hand. Sure, it's going to take a little bit longer, but I don't want to go really digging into this stuff with an electric sander right now. I'm using a block of wood, okay? I'm using this as a sanding block, which I wrap my paper around and I hit the helmet with that. I know it kind of seems weird to use something flat to do a curved, contoured area, but this is the way you want to do it. Use a sanding block. Now I can see my edge start to come through a little bit here on the piece, so I'm not really going to sand any lower in this area. I'll keep it back towards the back a little bit now. You want to see your edges and your high spots start to come through. You can see on the face these lines, also up here. These are all the areas where my paper was joined together with hot glue whenever I built this out of the cardstock. So once you've hit those edges with your sandpaper, that's your indication to stop sanding. It's to the point where it's low enough. If you go any lower, like I said, you're just going to be taking material out of the low spots in between, and you're backtracking. You can see the back here. You see all the lines start to come through on the sides. Once you hit them, just stop. By the way, when you're doing this, make sure to wear one of these dust masks, because this stuff really, I was doing this yesterday without a mask on, and this dust really gets in your lungs and makes you cough, which can't be good. Now for the really tight areas, I basically just used my needle files. I picked up this whole set of needle files, by the way, at Harbor Freight for $3. So if you don't have a set, get them. If you're going to be doing something like this, you're going to need these. There's really no way around it. It's kind of like having a Dremel tool. If you're doing this, you need to have a Dremel tool. So for all the small areas, Like for instance this scoop on the top of the forehead here. I take my needle file and I'll just get in there. I know it's a bit tedious, but if you want a good result, this is how you're going to have to do it. And I'll sand, or I'll take that material off till everything is even. And I run my hand across this. I can't feel a different level here than here. It feels like one smooth piece. That's exactly what you want. Throughout this whole process, I'm trying to maintain all my sharp corners too. You can see on the front, sort of the brow above the eyes, that's a nice flat plane here. All of my edges, all of my corners are nice and crisp. Again, you can see the paper coming through, so you know that that's a nice crisp corner. You don't want to go putting on a second and third coat of Bondo and not worrying about your edges and your inside corners until the very end, because you're going to have way too much Bondo packed in here. You're not going to know exactly where to the file to keep everything straight and even. So throughout every coat, keep those as even as you can, just as if they were made out of the paper and there was no Bondo on here at all. Keep everything straight. You can see down here on the lip, on the bottom lip piece, I've kept this corner nice and sharp. I've kept this little angle in nice and sharp. I've done that with my files. I've kept the chin corner sharp. Everything on here is still sharp. The first coat was meant to fill in all of the deep areas, the low spots. And after this is sanded, the second coat is just basically going to be to cover up these paper lines that came through. We're going to coat the whole helmet again, just pretty much like a skim coat, a really, really thin coat. And once we sand that second coat, we do not want to see any of these lines come back through. We want just enough on there so that it covers the paper completely and it's smooth. So that's basically where it's at. I'll try and get this finished sanded. It's just about there. A couple little spots and I'll be ready to put that second coat on. So I'll bring back the video when I'm ready to do that. I'm sorry it took so long to get this video out. I've been pretty busy. I haven't had much time to work on this. But I'm back in the groove now and I can spend a bit more time on this now. So hopefully that second layer of Bondo video will be out pretty soon. I'm going to get that started as soon as I finish the sanding.